The wind howls. Dark clouds roll in above, like a blanket covering the sky. A slight pitter-patter of rain begins to fall around you, a rarity, but happening nonetheless. And as this water peppers your hair, the back of your hands, your clothing, Lance, you stand face to face with a demon. Mephisto smiles at you, taking the cigar from between his lips and dropping to the ground before rubbing it out with his boot. Killing the flame, killing the embers. And he glances upwards, eyes like charcoals meeting yours.
So, this Mephisto, I take it.
Very observant, as always, Lance.
Well, I was sent here, told that you could point me in a direction that I need to be headed.
I could point you in direction. I can tell you what you must do. I can give you power. I can give you strength and authority. But it's all in a contract, my friend. That's how this works here.
Yeah, I got a idea how these kind of things work. You see, my dad used to tell me that you never make a deal with a man at a crossroad. It's the one thing that he did leave an impression on.
Well, your father's a hypocrite because he did that exact thing.
So I've been told. So what's this contract? What's it entail?
Well,
am I supposed to sell my soul to you?
That is one option. You need to decide what you want first. Then I'll decide what it's worth.
I want to know what the hell is going on here in Crow's Gulch. I want to know how to stop it.
And he kind of steps forward until there's maybe like a foot between you, and he whispers, "Is that all? You don't want revenge upon a father who took everything away from you, even your mother? You don't want to see him punished for all the lawless things he's done, the people he's hurt?"
He'll be punished. I want that more than anything, but it won't be done with your help.
Shame. I couldn't help but watch your little scene at the bar. That boy, the one who almost shot you, your daddy killed his daddy. And he knows it.
Well, I'm sure he'll deal with that however he sees fit. World has a funny way of connecting people. Or is that just your doings behind the scenes? Seem to be doing a lot of watching. Don't know what it is about you people. Blackburn. You just always lurking in some fucking window or something?
Blackburn's as much a part of you as that gun's a part of your daddy. He's there, always. He tells me what happens, what goes on. Pretty low on the pecking order, to tell you the truth, but ain't worth much.
Well, I didn't come here to talk about my dad and what he does and what he doesn't do. I have a city to save. Can you help me or not?
Yes. Crow's Gulch. Built upon a lie, for a lie, covered by lies. You really want to save this hole in the wall? The way I see it, they treated you like shit.
Kind of stare at him for a while. Doesn't really matter how they treat me. I was sent here to do a job. If I was friends with everybody, like the Boutons, I highly doubt I'd be doing my job very well.
So let me get this straight. You want to save the city, yes? Because what? Because they're good people? Because they deserve being saved?
There's good people. It's what my job is. It's what I signed up for. I'm a peacekeeper one way or the other. And I've sworn an oath to uphold justice.
And would you say this land that they live on, this oasis that they have, belongs to them?
I wouldn't say that I know who it belongs to. It's a piece of land.
You need to broaden your horizons. You need to look beyond what you see right in front of you, deputy. They weren't here first. The So are just taking back what's theirs.
Why now, though?
Now you see, that's part of the deal you want to make. I can't give you that information till we agree upon what the deal is. So here's what I propose. I will give you the information you want. How to bring an end to all this, what the whole kerfuffle's over. And in return, you are going to make sure of three things. First, you will owe me a favor to be cashed in whenever I want it. And this is an open-ended favor. I'm not defining the deal of what it is yet. There will be room for discussion, of course. I won't make you do anything against your moral I won't give you a moral quandary either. But you owe me a favor, primarily. Number two, I want the gun back that your daddy has. He's here. You will confront him, as he's part of this big issue. But you get his gun, you don't get to keep it. You bring it back to me, along with the one that boy has. The silver one, you've seen it. I want them both. And third and final, you will make sure that the Boutons stay in power. You're going to join their little cabal. You're going to become whatever they want you to be, deputy. Those are my terms.
Seems to be a rather lopsided deal.
I could just ask for your soul.
As if I'm not already selling it to you with this.
The contract didn't require that, so no, you're not.
Yeah, I'm sure about that. Kind of sigh. Contract is, though, you tell me what I need to do to stop this and help me put an end to it. You lead me astray. Whatever's going on here doesn't stop. The deal's off.
Kind of like eye you, like staring at you, and just nod. I'm a demon of my word.
All right, well, you're asking for three things. The way I count it, I'm only getting one thing. One more thing.
What is it?
You fix that poor kid's face. It's gotten messed up real bad because of me.
Fine.
So what? We shake hands now, give each other hugs, best of friends.
He smiles and he steps up to you and looks you in the eyes. Do you accept these terms, Lance O'Connor?
I don't see what choice I have.
And this smile would go across his face. You see that his teeth aren't flat like human teeth. All of them look like canines, pointed. His mouth widens. Good. And he reaches forward into your chest. His hand sinks into your flesh as if it isn't there, as if it's nothing more than water. And his hand closes around your heart, and you feel burning, an agonizing burning in your chest, as if somebody's branded your heart. Smoke drifts up from your mouth as you scream in pain, and his hand comes back out. You see that on his palm, this strange black symbol. It's smoldering. He reaches into his coat and pulls out another cigar, lighting it with a flame from his mouth before taking a puff. The contract signed, sealed, and delivered then. You're just sweating. The rainwater beating together with the sweat down your forehead and rivulets. Get up off the ground. Didn't hurt that bad. And you kind of sit down on a rock across from you. All right. What do you want to know?
I want to know why the So are attacking. Who's behind these? I'm trying to look up the word. Sorry, I can't remember it. Sheena, or what was it? The Sena.
Say
Oh,
Nike.
Senaye.
Senaye.
Yeah.
And I want to know how to put an end to it all.
You just kind of nod. Well, I'm sure you've heard the term Mother Owl. Is that a name that's familiar to you?
I mean, I wouldn't say familiar, but I've heard it tossed around in this mystery, this muddled shithole that is Crow's Gulch.
The way I see it, there are three groups in conflict here. You have Mother Owl and her group of corrupted So. They don't follow her because they want to. They follow her because she's embedded star steel, corrupted star steel into each of them. You have the people of Crow's Gulch following the Boutons. More going on there than you think, my friend. And you have the Peacekeepers. Now, the Peacekeepers are working with the Owen Water Training Company to take over Crow's Gulch and the Oasis. Now they manipulated and placed Mother Owl in a position of power. She's corrupting the So, using them as a means to drive everyone out so that new order can be established and new treaties signed. I know you've got the will somewhere. The Owl Boy stole it. If you even bother to read it, you see that it clearly states that as long as a Bouton's in power, as long as a Bouton lives here, then they own the Oasis. Once they leave, the war ends. But it just gets more complicated from there. You see, nobody can know what happened here. The little plan you guys have to get out, it's not going to work. That's where your pappy comes in. Signed on and paid by the Peacekeepers to make sure no one gets out.
That's bullshit. There's no way the Peacekeepers hired that piece of shit.
Maybe not the Peacekeepers specifically, but a couple among them had the idea.
And who are these couple?
Well, there are a few among the elected board in Nassau. There are a couple of sheriffs in the area surrounding this area who have been hired on to do this deed. Seeing as the Bowens are lawless and all, it is upholding the law to remove them and oust them.
So what are you saying I do to stop this? I tell the Bowens to leave, and then I follow them around like their little lapdog?
Well, you kill Mother Owl, and when she dies, none of the corrupted listen anymore. They don't do as she says. Or you get the Bowens to leave. That works too. No more people die. Kind of. Or you can come up with your own option. You're creative. You'll figure it out.
And the Oasis, is this some work of the Owen Water Trade and Peacekeepers? Why is it drying up?
No, that has to do with the Bowens. They just don't know anymore what they're supposed to do. There's someone coming who does, though.
And who might that be?
Are you familiar with the name Carson? You would know who he is. He's the sheriff of Smokeholm,
Okay.
the northernmost son of Providence.
Okay.
Just a legend among sheriffs, basically.
All right. And he knows what's going on with the Oasis.
Yeah.
And you're just going to leave it at that.
Well, all I can say is don't let all the Bowtons die. One of them needs to replenish the Oasis.
All right. Any other useful bits of information you got for me? I really feel like I'm getting the short end of the stick on this deal here.
If you need anything else, you can ask Blackburn, of course. He knows the details of our contract.
All right. Well, sounds like I got work to do. And I'll pick myself off the ground finally, dust off my hat, and throw it on.
One last thing, Lance. I would warn you to be wary. Be wary of your sheriff friend.
You mean Dwayne?
He's not entirely what he seems, my friend.
What the hell's that supposed to mean?
Gives you a wink. You'll find out. And he turns around and takes 2 steps before disappearing. Okay, so we're going to go back to the town. As Hiram, you watch as Lester kind of makes his way away from the main group, slipping seamlessly behind Dennis and walking behind him up the hill. You see that his face is kind of set in this like determined, rigid, like a stare almost. He kind of idly, as you've noticed before, he spins that revolver in his hand, just looking down at it with this solemn glare on his face.
Well, you better oil that thing. You're just drying it out. He tosses him it's like a little sifter of oil for the gun.
Yeah, he would take it, kind of like douse it into like a rag that he like carries inside of his vest, and kind of like oil the gun down, basically. Make sure that it still spins easily and that the everything is basically cleaned.
Lester, I heard what you said, and you know you got to go with them. You're not going to be able to stay here this time.
Yeah, the corner of his lips would just turn down to a frown. What do you mean?
I mean, I'm staying here. And if there's anybody who I can trust with a gun, it's you. You've proven that. You've seen what I've dealt with, both with the family and he kind of pauses for a moment. Outside the family and city, for that matter. They need someone who's at least aware of what's actually going on out there with them. Someone that can steady a gun, someone that can take care of a problem if it needs to be. Lester, I'm trusting you to watch out for these people. I'm also trusting you to keep the secret of what you saw. Now, the boys who were with me are going to keep it quiet, but for the love of God, Lester, if anybody asks you any questions, there's just some so. You didn't see nothing else. Nothing weird went on. And if something weird went on, you don't know any part of it.
Why are you so scared? We killed it, didn't it?
And,
we handled it just fine.
Like, I imagine they're kind of like off to the side already, but like
Hiram, yeah, you're like drawing them away like slowly. Yeah.
Hiram walks over and like grabs him by like the collar of his jacket, because I imagine he has like a much nicer version of Hiram's jacket because that's kind of the kid that he is. And he like grabs him by the collar of it and pulls him real close. And he goes, listen, Lester, there is bigger things than just mountains in this world. And you just got to see just the tip of the iceberg. I'm stuck where I am, but I'm not going to let you get stuck. If anybody finds out what you saw, God, you're going to go from such a good life, kid. I don't do what I do because it's fun or I got some sixth sense of adventure to go out and kill monsters. I do it because I have to. I'm forced to. I don't want you to be in the same boat. I need you to keep it quiet. And if you see anything like that out there, away from the towns, it gets much more dangerous. I need someone that I can trust out there. That's why I need you to go. If you don't go, mark my words, you're going to be on that wagon one way or another.
His posture goes from like standoffish to defiant as you say, you'll be on there one way or another. And his eyes narrow at you. Roll me persuasion.
Yeah. I'd like to take disadvantage because I know what I'm doing is like purposely agitating a teenager. So I think that's very fitting. What do you think?
Yeah, for sure. That's fine.
Like, this is that frustrated, I'm like your big brother trying to talk you into doing the right thing conversation. Like, I know it's not going to go anywhere, but I'm trying.
Yeah, for sure.
That is a 4.
Yeah, okay. He looks at you as you're saying all this. You see him slowly becoming standoffish and then just outright defiant. And he says, Hiram, you never give me any chances. You never let me prove myself. I managed to shoot that thing too. I managed to get a bullet in it. I can make a difference here. I can do something. I'm not just some rich kid who's grown up all his life under the money of his father.
Look, Lester, I'm not trying to tell you that you're not a good shot.
No, you look.
Lester, if I didn't trust you enough, I wouldn't have took you out to the quarry that night. I wouldn't have allowed you to come with. Now I will admit that thing that we saw in the quarry was much worse than I had originally anticipated. But I always knew what we were going into wasn't going to be a normal situation. It wasn't just going to be a couple of Indians out in the quarry who tried to kill your dad. It was going to be something weird like that. Now, if I didn't trust you, knowing that there are things like that out in the world, do you think I would have took you?
Let's see how much common sense this kid has in his anger. He calms down a little bit. If you trusted me then, why don't you trust me now?
I trust you more than anybody here, Lester. I'm not kidding. Outside of the town, it gets worse. Half these people won't even be able to do... You managed to squeeze off a shot into that thing. More than half these people won't even get that far. I need someone who's already proven that they can do this with them. Aside from that, not all the boating men can stay in town. Someone needs to be around to be able to claim the right of land if it comes necessary.
You see, when you mention like the right of land, like there's a recognition there. Like he understands that both his father and his brother are dead, and now it's just him and Dennis. You would assume that he's probably had this conversation with Dennis before already. Now that Bountons are dying left and right.
Right.
So he looks at you, and he just looks down at the gun that you went with him to pick out, the gun that you decided was his style, his fit, that would be perfect for him. And he kind of looks down at it, kind of holding it in his hands, and you would see the kind of like just briefly as he kind of like moves by side to side, kind of uncomfortably. What do you see that he always carries with him? A memento of some kind that reminds him of the lessons that you've always taught him.
Yeah. What he has is it was a coin, like a copper piece that his father, when trying to pick out who could teach his son how to duel, the test to just even get to see Lester was his father would flip the coin and you had to shoot it out of the air. He's got a coin attached to like a little bit of like piece of leather that's attached to the gun handle, and he's got the gun kind of flipped open to the side, but inside the other hand, inside his palm, you can see this copper piece that's got a clear bullet bullet hole right through the middle.
Yeah, you see him. It's been worn over the years. As copper fades, when it's like handled frequently, you see that the face of it is kind of like smudged off, so you can see that it's like faded beneath from him holding it so much. And his hand closes around it. You see that his thumb is kind of rubbing across the surface of this coin with a hole in it. And he would look at you, and you see that there's like behind the anger, just because you know Lester so well, behind the anger, behind the stubborn bravery, there is a deep, deep fear. He doesn't understand what he saw that night. He doesn't understand what's going on now. He doesn't understand why his dad or his brother are dead. He doesn't understand why people have to run, why they have to leave, why the So are attacking and taking people away. And for the first time, behind everything, behind this teenager nonsense that he's pulling, you see that fear. And briefly in his eyes, you see tears again, and he kind of reaches up and wipes them away immediately, hoping that you didn't see them.
Yeah, and I think like the other times that Lester's teared up, it's one of those things like you don't acknowledge it kind of thing. And Hiram says, in case I'm not around, Lester, town gunsmith should be coming with you. It's about time you had your handle customed. Again, your hands are getting bigger.
Yeah, I imagine
it's like
this
the
is almost like a rite of
thing
passage.
yeah, it's like the closest thing that Hiram can do. Like this is like the "I'm proud of you, kid" moment. Like you're growing up, but this is like as close as Hiram gets to like making that sort of comment.
Yeah, he would like look up at you as you say this, and then look down at the gun. I imagine that like over the years, like that you've been training him and teaching him, that you kind of like led up to this moment. The next time he gets to customize his handle is the next time that like he's a real he's a real he's, how would you say, like not necessarily a duelist, but like a real gunslinger, I guess, in a way. Like you trust him with the weapon now. And he would like look at you, like staring at you for a second before looking down at his hands and his feet, and the gun, the kind of, and the coin that kind of just sits in his palm, and he'd look back up at you and just nod.
And then one other thing, Lester. There's a group out there that does what I've been doing in this town. Take that back from them. Don't let outsiders decide how your town handles things like that thing we saw in the quarry. When you get old enough, keep the Bowden's business the Bowden's business.
He would like look at you and like nod, like this firm nod. You see his hand would grip around the handle of his gun, which he'd slip into the holster for the first time in what seems like forever that he's put it away. He seems to always have it in his hand recently. And 1 second. He would surprise you by giving you a hug before turning and running after Dennis, who he speaks to briefly and quickly in terse tones, and Dennis nods before sending him off towards the caravan. Okay. Do you have anything else to do?
I don't think so. I think I'm just kind of waiting for the deputy to come back because he said he was going to go get some answers.
Okay.
I think mostly what I'm ending up doing is like uncharacteristically, because everything's just been changing for Hiram, is he's helping people like load the carts. Because normally he would literally pull up a rocking chair on the side of the saloon and drink outside watching everyone else work.
Yeah, yeah, for sure.
Things have changed.
Yeah. So you head over to help. People kind of look at you in surprise before kind of giving you nods and slaps on the back, almost like seeing this as you stepping up in a weird way. And for the first time since you've arrived in this town, you feel like people are being genuinely friendly to you. So we're going to swap to the sky. In the air, the wind howls. It almost feels like you're at the center of the storm too. The wind's buffeting you, pushing you, rocking you back and forth, and behind you the screech as the hawk dives down. The letter flutters in your talons, barely held there. As you screech in the storm, held aloft by the updraft and pushed down by the storm above. Roll initiative.
That's a 19.
Okay. Shrieking down from above you, the hawk comes. She got a 22, so she's going first. Let me get my monster man. Okay. Okay, the hawk shrieks down towards you, screaming as it approaches you. It's going to try and grab you with its talons, clamp them down on the back of your neck. Here they come. That is a 15 to hit. As I hit you in your owl form.
Yeah, my owl form is 11.
Okay. Yeah, claws just dig into your back, ripping and tearing at your feathers, trying to get your wings to make you plummet to the earth, but just barely missing, dealing 1 point of slashing damage to you as it rips free feathers.
All right, and so just to recap the hit points in this form.
Yeah, we'll just do double your con modifier.
Okay. Sounds good. So yeah, I'm basically flying, and this thing turns around, and I swivel my head all the way around like owls can do, but it's too late. The claws are already in me, and so I think I would get hit, and I would swivel the rest of my body around to face, and so I'm basically like upside down at this point, flying underneath it. And how high up are we?
You are very high up. Let's say like 300, 400 feet in the air. By the way, in this wind, your fly speed is halved.
All right. Well, man, this is tough. What's going through Matoska's head is like he's fighting in the air as this thing in hawk form, and he's like, if this thing gets me to break form up here, I'm dead. falling all this distance, but he's also thinking if I can make it break form, then it's an easy win. But he doesn't want to take the risk, and so he's just going to like turn around and fold in his wings and just plummet downward. And my owl has flyby. The owl doesn't provoke attacks of opportunity when it flies out of an enemy's reach.
Okay.
So I'm just gonna dive.
Okay. Yeah, you turn your face towards the ground, tucking your wings in and plummeting as you just jet like a spear towards the ground itself. It starts to fly up towards you. The wind is kind of making you a little bit more buoyant, so you're not going as fast as you thought, but you're still plummeting. You hear the screech of frustration behind you as the hawk puts its wings to its side also and dives after you. It is going to, it's going to dive after you, and you see as it kind of like reaches you, it's going to like fly up next to you so you can see each other, and then suddenly it turns back into its human shape, and it's going to cast a spell at you.
Wow. Okay.
I'm going to need you to make a con save for me.
In owl form?
Yeah, in owl form.
All right. That's and I don't get my. Do I get proficiency to that? Because I'm proficient in Constitution saves, or just whatever.
Yeah. Take proficiency. Yeah.
All right. With proficiency, that's a +1. That's 11.
Okay. So what's going to happen is you suddenly your body feels like weird and like slippery, and you look down at your wings and you see that kind of growing out of these wounds in your back that this hawk has kind of torn into you. Oil is kind of spreading across your body, across your wings. You know that it is going to be hard to stop your fall now, as your feathers are basically slicked up.
Got it.
So unless you can find some way to get this like oil/grease off of you, you're gonna have a hard time pulling up your fall. It's your turn now.
I break form, I rage, and I grapple her.
Ooh, okay.
Well, we're going down together, baby.
Okay, grab her.
So I think it's my athletics against your acrobatics or athletics.
Okay.
It's an opposed roll.
Her acrobatics are. Oh, that's a nat 1.
I got a 20.
Yeah, you grab her.
So I'm gonna grab her, and so now we're both in human form, and we're both plummeting. And I'm gonna try to like orient my body as best I can, so that when we hit, she's on bottom.
Okay. Yeah, you rotate her beneath you, forcing her below. She's like struggling and shaking, trying to get free, and she's gonna snarl at you from behind this mask, this hawk mask over her face. Oh, it's her. Hold her up. She's in human form now. This hawk mask over her face. She looks at you, anger, and you see her reach, like kind of like touch up against your body. She reaches inside of her jacket, this robe, and she pulls out this knife, and she's gonna just stab it into your stomach.
Bring it on.
You see that the dagger, by the way, it glitters wickedly in the moonlight. It's Starsteel too. So she's gonna jab this dagger inside of your gut, and you see as she does so that the Starsteel is blackened. It is corrupted Starsteel. So I'm gonna need you to make a Wisdom save.
Oh, she hits me?
Yeah, she hits you. She got a 21.
That is most certainly a hit. 15 on my Wisdom save.
Okay, yeah, you barely make it. So she does 11 points of stabbing damage to you. A piercing, I guess what it is. Piercing damage with this knife. It ignores your resistance because it's made of Starsteel.
Of course it does.
So she buries it up to the hilt in your gut, and you feel a presence enter your mind. It's almost as if a talon is closed around your head, around your brain, squeezing. But you're able to force it away before it can dig its talons into your head, before it can sink its beak into your mind and tear away who you are. But it's pulling at you, and that'll be it for her turn.
All right, it's my turn, and I have her grappled. How far are we from the ground?
You are plummeting, so you're probably about Like from 400 feet, now you're probably like 300 feet away. You're going to travel at about 60 feet around.
God, this sucks. I'm gonna swing my tomahawk at her, I'm gonna swing my silvered hatchet. I just like
Okay.
I'm holding her with one hand and I pull out the weapon and I just bash her in the face.
Okay, go ahead.
Here we go. That's gonna be a 15 to hit,
Oh yeah, that hits.
and ooh, I rolled an 8 on my d8, so 8 plus 5,
Okay.
13 points of damage.
Okay. You hit her straight in the face, but the mask absorbed most of it. This kind of this ivory bone mask. As it
So I shatter
slammed
the
down,
mask.
as it slams down, you cut through, splitting it practically in half. As you pull it away, the mask comes off too, fluttering off into the wind, being lost behind you. And you are confronted with the face of Milwaukee.
What?
Black lines spread up her neck, across her face, up along into her eyes. They are blank. They are not the eyes of Milwaukee that you know. And as she stares at you, there is no recognition. There is no hint of familiarity or kindness, just a burning hatred. And she sneers at you and lifts one of her hands and touches it to your side of your face. Make a wisdom save.
$19 plus 1, 20.
Okay, a lethargy tries to sweep over you, grasping at your mind, grasping at your body. And as you feel it kind of like pushing against you, you push back. You form a wall. You make it so it can't take you over. I'm also going to need a wisdom save for having this knife still embedded in your gut.
What? That was still in me?
Yeah, she left it in there.
Oh, okay. Natural 20 plus 1, 21.
Okay, yeah, you resist the influence of the talons closing on your mind too. She screams in anger and starts clawing at your face. Your turn.
Oh God. Okay. Well, I'm now that I look down and I realize that I have a dagger planted into me, so I'm going to take that out.
Okay.
With my free arm. Shit.
Yeah, you don't have a free arm. Are you grappling her or not?
I'd have to drop my hatchet if I wanted to get the.
Yeah, you'd have to drop your hatchet.
Fuck. Yeah, I'm gonna drop the hatchet.
Okay, you let go of the hatchet. It spins away into the wind.
Right, and I grab the steel thing and I yank it out of myself. Is that an action or how does that work?
Yeah, I'm gonna say that's like basically all of your movement. We'll call it a bonus action to pull that free.
All right, a bonus action. Shit. I sort of stare at her like eyes wild, and I just say, Milwaukee, I'm sorry. I'm sorry for what I did. Please forgive me. And I can't bring myself to strike her, so I'm just gonna take the defense action.
Yeah.
And hope for the best.
Yeah. She doesn't like. There's no recognition at all. As you say sorry, you're like, I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry. She reaches up towards your face and starts clawing at your eyes. She's gonna make an attack against you at disadvantage because you take the defense move. Oh, that's actually probably gonna hit. That's the lowest on that die is a 19. Does that hit you?
A 19 hits me, yeah.
Yeah, okay. So she reaches up and just starts clawing at your face. That's gonna be. I'm gonna make an unarmed attack, 1 plus her strength. So that's 3 points of damage. As her hands just claw and rip at you as she tries to kick away from you.
All right.
And that's where we're gonna swap over to Connor in the bar. Connor, you come to a burning. Oh, I guess it's Wesley. Wesley, you come to a burning pain on the side of your face, searing, like just burning into every part of who you are. You see the gun glittering on the floor next to you, taunting you. What do you do?
Oh, geez, what's that doing out there? As he quickly fumbles around, looking around him to see if there's anyone watching him. And he'll quickly snap out with his hand the gun and try and conceal it back again on his person.
Yeah. Nobody's in the bar. You could easily pick it up and put it away without being seen. But that pain in your face, it feels like. I mean, you've branded livestock, cows and stuff before. It feels feels like what that looks like.
Yeah, he'll like touch it after he's put the gun away, and it stings. And he looks at his fingers. Then he touches again. It still stings. Looks at his fingers. Touches it. It still stings. Until he realizes that this is definitely a thing that happens when you touch a wound. And he'll kind of like look around and try and get kind of just like look in the. I imagine there's like glasses on this table that we're at. He kind of like looks at the glass and like kind of the reflection of the nice greasy thing, and kind of like look and see what his face looks like.
Yeah, every scar is gone now. And you realize as you look at the glass that you're looking at it with both eyes.
We lookers. He just like blinks it and kind of like looks cross-eyed, trying to look at his own eye. He's just so confused at his face. And he's looking around, just like wondering if this all was just a dream. And he's looking for Lance.
Yeah, Lance isn't there. And as you kind of sit up looking around, as you kind of feel your face now whole again, but painful, you hear commotion outside, you hear shouting, you hear people moving wagons and supplies, and the sound of wood on wood as barrels and crates are loaded up. You hear the howling wind outside. The doors to the saloon are kind of like waving as they swing it back and forth against each other. The steady patter of rain on the ground and on the roof, you can hear that too. And as you're kind of standing there looking around, trying to figure out, what's going on, what happened, why is your face back to normal? You would remember pointing a gun at Lance. You would remember seeing a man with a black pistol shooting your father, shooting you. You would remember the first time that you saw through the weapon, the first time you saw something. You remember a man with a black gun shooting your brother. You remember squeezing the trigger, but everything went black. You can only assume, since Lance's body is not on the floor near you, that you actually didn't shoot him, but that you tried.
Wes will get up and he'll investigate the noise of the passing wheels, kind of just like kicking open the saloon doors and gazing out into the rain.
Yeah, so you would step outside, kind of looking upwards, up to the sky, kind of gray swirling clouds kind of rotating above the city itself. People are moving about like busily, like rushing back and forth from homes, carrying out whatever goods that they want to try and bring with them, whatever money they have saved, and loading them in the back of a long train of wagons. You remember as you kind of like stagger outside and put your hand on one of the pillars, that kind of like one of the columns is holding up the saloon roof. Suddenly you're looking through the gun again, a black revolver, a black pistol. This time, you realize that you're seeing through the gun that killed your father, and you watch as So rush into a home and drag your family out. You watch as your mother, kicking and screaming, is clubbed over the head and thrown over a shoulder. You watch as your fields burn, as your cows are slaughtered, as the newly built barn is burnt out once more. You hear the screams. You watch as a small group of guards come running out, and spears and arrows mow them down. You watch as this man with a black gun and 20 other people with weapons, providencers of some kind, get into a firefight that decimates the other side. You watch as everyone you know is hauled away. And then you're standing there again, clutching your head, hand on the pillar.
I feel like he would, between having a nasty hangover and the gruesome scenes that he just witnessed in his own mind probably would empty out the alcohol from last night's drinking from his belly all over the saloon deck. Just completely sickened by this all. He's in almost like a fever. He's just looking. He's trying to see if there's any faces of any people in the real world instead of what he's witnessing.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, you'd see Hiram standing with the other people, those who've survived, those who are here in the town, loading goods into the back of wagons. Yeah, so he's working.
He Wes would immediately go up to Hiram, just recognizing him as a familiar face. Oh, Mr. Hiram, sir, boy, am I glad to see you. Well, what's going on in this ruckus?
You know, I don't really know. We're just helping him pack up right now.
Oh, pack up what, Hiram, sir? What's going on?
Well, I mean, it's up to you, kid, what you want to do from here, but most of the townsfolk, we're sending them away. Water's drying up, as you know.
Where are we sending them to? Where are they going?
Anywhere with water. That's really up to the Botans how they want to handle it.
And Ty, you said it was raining, right?
Yeah, it's raining. It's slowly increasing in intensity.
And so Wes holds out his hand, catching the droplets. But Hiram, sir, there's water all around us right now. What's going on with the?
One good rain is not going to change too much here.
But the rain will catch all in that reservoir over yonder.
Yeah, that might buy him another week, but I'm more concerned about what the town's going to do in the long run.
Well, we got that reservoir.
Yeah, but if the rain stops, how long realistically? How long do you think it's going to take for us to run through that?
He starts like counting on his fingers. Well, I don't know, Mr. Hiram, sir.
Yeah, but you know farms better than the rest of us. That reservoir's not going to make an entire season.
I bet you not many farms are left after what happened.
Ty, I just saw your note there. Would his bandages be gone, or is he still wearing the bandages? Because
they've like fallen off. Because if you remember, he fell and like hit his head and was like on the floor.
Ooh, okay, yeah. Wes, I think we got more problems though. And he moves over to the side where Wes should be blind and pulls his gun and just like levels it right at Wes's head just to see if he gets some sort of reaction from him.
I think like as you move, he just like turns and can easily see like, whoa, what's going on, sir? And he actually like looks at where you're pointing the gun as if like you're pointing it through him. He's like,
try to go through you. like just a moment later, he just like lets it sag for a moment. He goes, "I'm sorry, Wes. I thought the rain was the most miraculous thing today, but it seems you've grown back an eye."
And reckon, did I ever lose the eye? That's what I'm pondering. If all this blue was mighty fever.
You lost it. You definitely did. And
it is right here, sir.
He grabs a spoon and like shines it up on his shirt and then like holds it up so that Wes could look at his own reflection. And then while you say it's right here, it's been here, like Hiram just picks up the bandages that are soaked through with your blood that used to be on your face. This begs to differ, Wes.
I remember one of them fancier folks up in the important house would talk about them miracles all the time, but
yeah, this could qualify for one. If you're the praying sort, you might want to thank whoever it is that took care of you.
Well, thanks, Mr. Face Healer, sir. Wes would say as he talks to the bandage. What's so you're sending these folk off to someplace yonder? What? There aren't any folks staying around?
Yeah, the Bowtons are gonna leave, but there's some people sticking around. We're gonna try and get to the bottom of what's going on in town. The So are on the move, and to keep the town alive, I recommended that they take a caravan and go to the next closest city.
Are you going with them, Mr. Hiram, sir? Or are you staying back with the good folk?
I'll be staying back, but kind of depends on what we get from the deputy. He went to go get some answers. Once he gets back here, we'll know what to do.
Deputy enters stage right.
Oh, Mr. Deputy, speak of the devil.
I imagine as you say that, you hear a voice of what seems like a madman running through town, and everybody, stop what you're doing. And you guys kind of all look to your like right and see that Lance is completely like covered in mud, dirt, blood, and just looks like a literal bag of shit. And he's just running through town in the muddy streets, just covered to it up to his shoulders. And he's like in front of the caravan, just waving his arms, and his hair's all matted and all over the place. And he's like, no one can leave.
Did Mr. Deputy Sheriff, sir, hit the moonshine a little too hard, Hiram, sir?
Yeah, you get this like real confused look from Hiram, like he just did not understand what you said this time around. Like Hiram tries real hard, but he's just not picking up what you're putting down.
You'd hear from the hill a shout. Dennis comes walking back down. What are you talking about, Deputy?
Kind of like just stumble there, and on the way back from town, I imagine it actually took so long because after the adrenaline of making this deal, he realized how truly drunk he was and had to like walk several miles back to town. So it's been a really rough go of it for him, and he's just kind of like wobbling there in front of Dennis walking down the hill, and he looks, and it's a trap. It's gonna be people waiting. Everyone's gonna die if we leave.
Dennis walks up to you and he's like looking at you. He takes in the blood. He takes in the dirt and the mud. He takes in the sweat and the water dripping down your face. He takes in the reek of alcohol on your breath. Deputy, what is this really about? Look, I've had the boys out checking. They haven't found anything, and you are drunk.
Listen, Dennis, we don't got time for this.
Deputy, I know we have not seen eye to eye, all right? But can you put petty grudges aside so we can get out of the town, get the people out who need to get out?
I'd walk up to him and kind of grab him by his shirt and listen, you son of a bitch, this has nothing to do with gripes or anything.
You have 15 revolvers pointed at you now.
I don't back down. If you send these people out, they're all going to die.
You kind of like frown as you say this and look at you, Hiram.
Let's just hear him out at least. He said he was going for some answers. He might know more than what you perceive. Besides, Dennis, half these people are drunk anyways. Had to get drunk down one way or another before moving towns. You can't blame the man for drinking the night before.
Yeah, he'd look at you, Hiram, and say, but do we really want to let drunk men make decisions for the good of the town?
No, but sometimes there's words of wisdom inside drunken man's mouths.
And a whole lot of vomit. And he'd look at you and just kind of like, oh.
Yeah, there's a little bit on my chin still, but
Regardless, just let Dennis go and say your piece. And the rest of you, put your pieces down. We're not doing anybody favors. There's boxes to load, and we can at least hear them out.
And they kind of grudgingly lower their weapons and holster them again. And like looking back and forth with each other. You see like 5 of them stay nearby, like in case something does happen. But the other 10 kind of go off and helps load boxes still.
Yeah, now that the pressure's on, everyone's kind of looking at Lance for answers. He slowly lets go of the shirt of Dennis and backs up and adjusts his coat. Looks to Hiram with like a desperate plea in his eyes, and he's like, I just need everyone to trust me. I have it on good source. No. I have it on good source that there's someone out there And it's going to be bad. The worst kind.
He'd kind of like look at you. Let me get this straight. You want us to trust that something is out there waiting for the caravan.
Not something, someone. And I reckon he has a lot of people with him.
Fine, someone. Just because.
It's not just because. I'm the peacekeeper deputy around here. I've been put in charge. Not doing this as some power play, Dennis. I'm doing it to try to save who are left in the town. Half of them already died. Do you really want that on your conscience, sending them out? Have I ever done anything like this before and made a play like this before?
The moment you say, do you really want this on your conscience? You see him harden. You'd see his eyes turn into like narrow into a glare, and he'd step forward to like he's like right in front of you and say, "Everything I've ever done has been for the good of this town, deputy. I'm trying to save lives. Okay? I don't have any proof. I don't have any proof of what you're saying. But if we stay here, we're dead too."
Listen, it's a ploy by the Owen Water Trading Company. They want you guys out of here, and they're going to finish off the remaining family that stays. It's in the will. If there's no one left, if there's no Botans left in the city, then you lose your rights to the Oasis.
His eyes would immediately narrow as you say this, and he'd look at the five. He'd look at the five guards nearby.
Hiram
and he look over you,
narrows
Hiram.
his eyes too, and he's like, "How do you know what's on the will? Will's been missing."
Yeah, he looks at you with this like you better freaking answer look.
And there's like a visible like shit. This is why I wanted you all to trust me, but he pulls out reluctantly the will of Randall Boughton.
He immediately, his eyes lock on it as the rain starts to like get a little bit wet, and he snatches it from your hand, looks at it, like glances over it. How did you get this? And he grabs you by the collar now, like pulling you up to his face. How did you get this?
I imagine all the revolvers are once again pulled out and trained up hands.
Yep, they are.
He just doesn't fight back. He just kind of gets pulled in. He's too drunk and tired of this. He just says, I know who killed Randall. And he will be brought to justice when I find him. But I need you, Dennis, to put that aside right now. And I know that's hard. But there's a lot of lives on the line here.
Dennis is shouting now, how would you know who killed my father?
Because I stood face to face with him. And he got
In
away.
a mirror?
No, not in a mirror, Dennis. Come on.
No, he got away, Dennis.
And he'd like glance over at you, like confused, like, what do you mean?
I need you to understand, Dennis, that this is more than about vengeance right now. This is more than about revenge. This is your family's lineage. This is Crow's Gulch. This is lives we're talking about. If Randall was alive right now, he would want you to focus on keeping this town alive. Tell me he wouldn't. I will, I swear to you, bring justice to the man that killed Randall.
Roll persuasion.
I'd like to aid with a little bit of speech here.
Yeah, I mean you have sway. You can aid.
Yeah. Dennis, look, I didn't want to get you too excited. When I came back to the house and reported to you and your mother, I told you that we would find them, that we knew who it was. I didn't know about the will. The deputy must have picked that up before I got to see the cash, but we've seen enough evidence to know who did it. We're still tracking him down, but I don't want too many people knowing about it. It's a man who is connected inside the city, who's been around your family. The less people know who I'm suspecting, who the deputy's suspecting, the better.
Hiram, you saw fit to hold back information from me. Hiram, you're practically family. We trust you.
Yeah.
And
your
then
father would
this
trust him.
deputy's been trying to nail us for years. Shows up with my father's will, Hiram, my father's will.
I know.
And you're telling me to trust him?
Yeah, he's proven that to me.
Okay, roll that persuasion, Chris.
All right, no modifiers, so this is all up to the luck of the dice.
At least you get advantage.
Natural 18, natural 20.
Okay.
Awesome.
A
He looks at you, and you see him just like pondering it, thinking about it. You see there is a real animosity now towards you. You see that he doesn't trust you. You see that, in fact, he probably hates you right now.
Can I just say to him, listen, I understand you hate me. I understand you don't trust me. I feel the same way about you. But right now, everything's on the line. What we have left, what lives we have left, your family's line all relies on this night and the choices we make right now. We're both, although on opposite sides, trying to get to the same cause here, keeping lives around and keeping yous in charge, he reluctantly says.
Mm-hmm.
You Boltons.
He kind of runs a hand through his wet hair, kind of just pushing it back and just looking up at the sun, up at the sky, the rain falling on his face. Just lowers it and shakes his head, just like he can't believe what's happening. And he look up at you. And that's where we'll take a 5-minute break. Everybody go ahead and go to the bathroom. Go ahead and get a drink. And be back in let's say 7 minutes. Take a 7-minute break. Emotions are all over the place right now, baby. We've got all this touchy-feely crap going on between Lester and Hiram. We've got a sky battle between once lovers. Man, what's next? No comment? Okay. I shocked you into silence. I get it.
I was eating pretzels very loudly, so I figured I'd mute for everybody.
Oh, no, we want to hear that.
Yeah, that crunchy crunch. Yeah.
Yeah, no, it's the best. It's adding this background.
I was gonna say the worst part though is like it comes in those little like snack bags because they're
So
Halloween.
you have to crinkle them like a ton,
So
yeah.
they're like super crinkly too. Yeah.
Yeah. Oh man.
That just sounds like music to my ears.
Yeah.
How's Lance feeling, man? He's feeling the heat?
Oh no. It's calm like a cucumber, okay?
Calm like a cucumber. I can't say I've ever heard that one before.
Just made it up right now.
Well, I mean, it was good alliteration. I'll give you that.
Yeah. It's gonna be interesting though.
It's probably just a variant on the cool as a cucumber.
No, it's
Yeah,
calm. It's a derivative. The derivative. I can't say it.
Derivation of the phonetic phoneme known as a cool as a cucumber. It's derived from the North American Chris Villeneuve.
It's not North. He's actually Canadian, so I mean, it's something a Canadian would say for sure.
Hey,
Hey,
talking about there, bud.
what you talking about there?
I was gonna say, to be fair, aside from the cold weather, I think he's doing better than most of us Americans politically, anyways.
Yeah, I'll give him that. Yeah.
Hard to do worse.
It is a mess over here.
Oh, I'll give you that, dude. Nah, Chris, you my homie. You know it. I like your cute. I love your cute as a cucumber idiom there. That was nice.
I love you, man.
Oh, well, that's a little weird.
The really like sweet, light version for Canadians.
Yeah, exactly. Oh, funny stuff. All right. How y'all feeling? You ready to get back into this?
If we have to.
As ready as I'm gonna be.
Okay, let's go ahead and get back into it then. Up in the sky, Milwaukee's clawing at your face. She's just screaming in anger, a mindless, animalistic anger. Actually, you barely even recognize her. Her skin is just like palish, like so pale. These black lines standing out like white marks on a chalkboard.
All right. Matoska's remembering back to when he fought Chief Ahagi. And after he gave him the final blow, he spent some time with his knife and the body digging in and ripping out the dark, corrupted star steel inlay that he had into his skin. And sort of like skinning an animal back then, he didn't know the man. He didn't care much for him. But he remembers back to that experience of ripping out the star steel, and he just sort of looks down at her and looks at the dagger in his hand. He's got one arm like around her, like grip pinning her arms, and he's just gonna go down and say, "I'm sorry, Milwaukee," and he flips the dagger upside down, jams it in like sort of right here, near where like the edge of the star steel inlay was on the other guy, and he's going to try to pry free the star steel inlay
In Milwaukee.
In Milwaukee, yeah, he's
okay.
Because like he kind of knows where it is underneath whatever robes she's wearing, and so he is going to, like, as we plummet, try to yank it from her skin.
Okay, just so you're aware, and because I'm sure your character would know this, like removing corrupted star steel from a corrupted body is like almost, it's deadly in most cases.
My character would know that?
Yeah, because like you would know like how bad star steel actually is, like how good it can be and how bad it can be.
Fuck. Do I know of another way to cure someone from this? Probably not, right?
It's safer to kill whatever implanted the star steel and then remove it.
Oh, it is?
Yeah.
Huh. Okay. In that case, if I knew all that, then I would not try to do that. I would instead I would still flip the dagger upside down, and I would just try to knock her on the head to knock her out, which worked real good for me last time. I did that to someone.
Okay. Go ahead.
Hopefully, she's stronger
it'll be an unarmed attack. But I'm just gonna make it so she has to roll a con save to see if she is knocked out or not.
All right. I rolled a 3 on my die, so I probably don't hit.
Yeah, you'd miss. She would like just rotate her head to the side, just throw it to the side, just dodging this dagger, the butt of this dagger as it comes down. And she's going to respond in turn. She would reach, like she would stop clawing at your face, and kind of reach down now, putting her hand right over your face. Actually, instead of clawing, she just places it there. And I am going to. Well, she'll make an attack. You see her hand starts to grow warm, just becoming almost an inferno of heat. And here we go.
You don't have disadvantage because we're in melee, right? With the range.
No, it's a touch attack.
Ah, shoot.
Yeah, so that's a 19 to hit.
That hits.
Yeah, so her hand closes around your face, kind of gripping the sides of your temple, and you're going to take. You're going to take 14 points of fire damage as glowing red embers just explode from her hands, a shower of charcoal, just coating your hot charcoal coating your face, burning your skin. You suddenly come to the realization that she is delving into the darker magics, the things that turn shamans into Ian Alvushi. She has truly this is dark stuff that she's messing with, definitely, for sure.
It's not her fault though. It's the stupid dark steel.
Okay, so she blasts you with flaming charcoals and embers, just burning your face and your eyes. Yeah, straight to the face.
I imagine I screech out in pain. And are we getting pretty close to the ground at this point?
Yeah, you're like probably 120 feet away now.
Oh man. And we're probably plummeting pretty fast at this point. It is raining though, right? Like we're in some sort of storm.
Yeah, it's raining now.
All right. Ugh. Well, probably gonna die here. I let go of her and I try to stop my fall. I turn back into I get my con modifier per day of uses of Shape of the Wild, so I'm going to use it again. And I'm going to try to halt my descent as we plummet the last 120 feet.
So you're surprised and you found you did exactly what you needed to. When you changed into your human form, the grease and whatever just kind of washed off your skin with the rain falling around you and the wind whipping around. There's nothing for it to soak into. So when you turn back into an owl, you see that your feathers are clean, and you're able to roll me a strength check. Or a strength save. Let's just strength save.
Oh, I have a big fat -4 there.
And strength?
Well, as an owl.
Oh, yeah, okay.
But I have proficiency, so that goes down to -2. And while I'm raging, I have advantage on strength saving throws. So, and so that's 17 -2 is 15. Yeah,
you're able to spread your arms out, spread your wings out, and catch the wind. And with a terrible yanking, your arms just like snap backwards, but you barely manage to hold them still. These wings catching your descent. and you're able to pull yourself up. You hear a pop in your shoulder, though.
I limply sort of float down, trying to land, I once I've slowed my fall, I'm gonna continue downward at a more reasonable pace towards the earth.
Yeah, you watch as Milwaukee. You watch as Milwaukee plummets to the earth, just streaking towards it. She kind of turns to face the ground, and she extends her arms to the side and turns into a hawk. She's gonna have to make a strength save now too. Okay. Her wings snap backwards behind her back, touching each other. You hear a loud crack. And she continues her downward descent.
All right. Well, we had 120 feet, right? She's got a little bit of room. I'm going to dive down after her, and if it looks like she's going to hit the ground or something, I don't know if I can like hold my action. But if she's not managing to get herself under control, I'm going to try to dig my talons into her back and like provide extra lift so that she doesn't go smashing into the ground.
Yeah. Okay. Here's strength
depending
save
on how well she does.
Here's strength save number 2. Oh yeah, she makes it. That time she got a 2 17s at disadvantage. Okay. Yeah. So she pulls up. Barely. You see her wings are like weirdly angled though. You know that there's definitely something wrong with her shoulders. As she like flies away from you back towards the camp, wings hobbled, just trying to stay in the air.
She's flying away from me?
Yeah, she's flying away from you.
Oh, I'm not letting her get away.
Okay.
I follow and I try to bring her to the ground if I can. How far high up are we now?
Probably like 100, probably like 90 feet.
Okay. Yeah, I follow her and I try to.
Okay.
I'm gonna try to bring her to the ground if I can.
Okay, so as you kind of
in bird form, but that's what my aim is.
Yeah, so as you dive after her, trying to catch her, the wind supernaturally is going to pick up and blow in your face. I'm going to need you to make another strength save at disadvantage.
Natural 1.
Okay. You see in the wind these clouds that are swirling above you, a huge owl, and the owl in the clouds kind of like moves its wings and flaps, and this gust of wind just comes down, blowing you away, slamming into you and making you spiral backwards. So you're gonna get launched backwards, and you're gonna begin to fall again, plummeting as you lose your loft, I guess, as your wings are forced up against you.
All right. I guess I abandon. I mean, I'm not going to be able to catch her. So I tried just to land and without hurting myself, if possible.
Yeah. Roll me just another strength save. No disadvantage this time, because you're just flying away from the wind now.
I got a 4 minus 4 is 0.
Oh, okay. You try as you can to pull yourself up, but the wind now gusts behind you. You can't open your wings. You're plummeting towards the earth. 50, 40, 30, 20. You have one last chance. Another strength save.
9 minus 4.
Okay.
I'm not very strong in owl form.
Okay. You slam into the earth. The wind just driving you like a nail into the ground. You are going to take a bunch of d6 of damage, which are probably going to launch you out of your owl form. Luckily, you are raging, so you'll take half of this.
I'm not raging anymore.
Oh, you're not raging?
That's why I wasn't having advantage on my strength checks, because I think I get out of rage when I think it's like when I don't take damage or something.
Okay. Yeah, so you're going to take 20 points of bludgeoning damage as you slam into the ground.
I die.
I mean, that wouldn't kill you outright, would it?
No, I hit 0.
Okay, so that knocks you unconscious.
Yep.
Okay. You hit the ground, and everything just goes black. Okay, we're gonna switch back over to the city now. Dennis looks you in the eye, Lance, staring at you, and reluctantly, an angry, curt nod. Fine. But if everything goes wrong, Deputy, just know it's on you.
Always was, Dennis. It always was.
He just turns and just walks away. You see his shoulders are just like slumped. He doesn't know what to do. I mean, Hiram's backing you up, so I guess he feels like he has to trust you, I guess.
I'd kind of, as they're walking away, turn over to Hiram and just give him a nod. Thanks for having my back.
Please tell me you got a plan.
Well, I got some answers at least. Kind of hoping that you could help me out with the plan. I think we should maybe talk, just the three of us. I don't really know who we can trust anymore, but I'm pretty damn sure I can trust you two.
Yep, we're about all the backup you got right now. By the way, if you hadn't seen him, and he points over to Wes, like, I don't know what to do with this.
Yeah. Lance is kind of like, oh, imagine that. Weird. And you could tell that, like, maybe I don't know how good your insight or whatnot is, but he looks strangely, like, not that shocked by it.
Mm-hmm. All right, so what are we expecting? What kind of answers did you get?
Come. And I imagine I'd take him to, like, I don't know, somewhere empty, the tavern, or probably not the sheriff's office, but somewhere where we could talk. My room, Hiram's room, and then...
Yeah, the snake bite's got to be pretty much empty by now.
Yeah. I'd pull him in and I'd say, so it's basically 3 factions at work here. The Owen water trading, like we thought all along. But what we didn't know is that there's some peacekeepers, corrupt ones, that want to see the Boutons fall too. And they've aligned themselves with Owen. And they've put this mother owl, a Yinadushi, I think they're called, some kind of skin-walking, corrupt shaman. I'm hoping at least maybe between the two of us in my book and your knowledge that we can figure out what the fuck's going on with that. But they've put her in control of the So, and she's going around corrupting them. And then to make matters worse, and this is where, like, he looks the most reluctant, they've called in someone to make sure no one gets out.
Well, I called in what favors I've got. Chances are, just as a heads up, it's going to backfire. I have a feeling that unless my cavalry comes at the right moment, they might just be the crew that's here to arrest me.
Yeah. I don't know how long we have to wait for cavalry, if I'm going to be honest with you. I think we need to go and take that mother owl out, takes the pressure off the Boutons, deals with the So, she'll lose control of them. They'll go back to being how they were before. And then with that, the Owen Water Trading Company won't have as much leverage.
Yeah, and if they make a move, law will be on the Bowden side this time. least if they make a move that's against the will.
Exactly.
How in the hell did you get a hold of that will? And why didn't you discuss it with me? We could have given that to Dennis earlier and gotten some level of trust from him.
Listen, it was Matoska. He showed me it, and I knew, or at least I thought, that if I showed you, that you'd go right to them, and that'd put an end to this real quick. Not saying it was the right choice. I'm sorry I wasn't upfront with you, but listen, I think you can understand why maybe you weren't the first person on my list of people to go and spill everything that I knew to.
I understand, but I mean, we already had the conversation that Matoska was involved, but I trust your judgment on Matoska, and I know that there's a reason that you let him go, but that will could have given the boy a peace of mind at least. All right, let's not waste time here in the bar. There's nothing to drink anyways. Do you know where Mother Owl is, or whatever her name is?
No, unfortunately don't. But I'm hoping this book and some acquaintance of mine might be able to steer us in the right direction.
You hear immediately from behind you. From a knowing pest to acquaintance, I'm moving up quickly in the world.
This time I'd spin around and be like, listen, Blackburn, we don't have time for games here. Need you to help me out with this. I've already made the deal with Mephisto. To which I actually say out loud in the middle of the room.
Yeah,
Yeah,
what does this look like? Because he's never had a Blackburn interaction with Hiram.
no, you guys have never seen him talk to the air like he is right now.
Okay.
That's the man you're putting all your trust in.
You can roll me. By the way, Hiram.
I was gonna say Mephisto sounds like he's kind of a big monster
yep.
in the world.
Roll me an intelligence like investigation check at advantage, because you having been a part of the Reapers for as long as you have, you would probably have heard this name.
Yeah, I got a 15 on that one.
Yeah, if demons had a boss, it would be Mephisto.
And
you know all about Crossroad Demons. You know all about the deals they make, how they take people's souls, how they do miracles and trade for things. Suddenly things start to piece together.
yeah, it's one of those things where like Hiram takes his tongue and he just licks it across the front of his teeth and then sucks in like this very knowing, like I've just lost all the words I could possibly say moment.
Yeah, and I'd spin around. I'm talking to Blackburn. I'm like, listen, Blackburn, I'm going to need you to tell us all right now. Where can I find the Mother Owl, and what weaknesses does she have? And then I spin around to the group like, don't worry, he's my buddy. Like, it's completely normal.
Yeah, you would hear Blackburn over your shoulder. You kind of step up, like look down at the table at all like the half-filled glasses, the empty bottles of moonshine, the empty bottles of whiskey and cheap liquor, and he'd look at you. Man, you really went to town last night, Lance. My word. Maybe you should show some restraint.
I'm showing more restraint than you know. Kind of tense my fist.
Ooh, real intimidating, I must say. Now, where is the Mother Owl? Well, that's a good question. We know, at least Mephisto's informed me, that she's somewhere up in the mountains to the north. There's a Sow village up there somewhere at the base of a mountain. I believe you call it Blue Mountain. You would know immediately where this is, by the way. Anyone from this place knows Blue Mountain. There's an old ruins up there, some sort of ancient building carved straight into the mountain itself. She's there.
How do we kill her?
Well, that's tougher. You know, this isn't your Rougarou. This isn't a Signalier. This isn't a Scootigamoo. This isn't something that you can just kill with fire or shoot with a silver bullet. or take their heart and bury it somewhere. This is a Lucy. This is something probably it's above your pay grade.
Listen, I'm not asking how not to kill it.
Well, white ash coated on a bullet. If you can put one right in her heart, that should kill her. If you can learn her name, it's another way. Sadly, I don't know that. They keep it very secretly for obvious reasons. If you can find her true skin and kill it while she's in animal form, that's another way.
The hell do you mean find her true skin?
Well, when Yi and Lucy transform into animals, they have a vessel of sorts, which keeps their body and spirit intact. Usually it's hidden. In fact, the form that you usually see them in is just an animal form they can change from their human self back, but their actual bodies are usually hidden away somewhere else.
All right. So I'd look back to like Hiram, like, you getting all this? To which I imagine
I don't hear anything, buddy. But you said Mephisto, so I imagine that there's someone, and Hiram still with the gun out, kind of like points in the general direction about there. But I'm not hearing any of it or seeing it.
And Mephisto huffs as you point the gun at him. How rude.
I'd spin back to Blackburn. Oh wait, am I talking to Mephisto or?
I mean Blackburn. I meant Blackburn.
Yeah.
I almost lost it there. One more thing. Black Ben. Where is he out there? Do you know?
Waiting for the caravan.
All right. All right. I think we have enough then. You can show yourself out the little hellspawn hole you crawled out of.
Yeah, and he would start to walk away mockingly. He can just disappear if he wants to. And he'd kind of stop at the door and then step back and kneel down next to Wesley's side, looking at the silver gun, at the revolver, and then turn and look back at you and raise his eyebrows.
Just kind of stare at him like, are you going to say something or are you going to go?
He kind of just shrugs and says, "Don't forget the deal. There are 3 parts, and stands up and walks back out.
Nod. Mumble to myself, I know the deal very well. And then I'd say, well, to Hiram and Wesley, I was kind of afraid that I was the only one that could see that asshole. But I know where the Mother Owl is. Up in the Blue Mountains, an old soul village. I got a laundry list of ways to kill her. None of them that make any sense to me. But I'm more than willing to share it with you, Hiram. And then I would just relay exactly what you told me.
Well, thanks for doing my laundry, Mr. Sheriff Deputy, sir. It's getting mighty stinky.
Yeah. No worries, my friend.
Who's Black Ben?
He's a criminal. One of the most wanted men around here. Cold-blooded killer. And he's my father.
Well, since you started that conversation off with he's a criminal, are you looking to arrest him? Because I don't know if we have time for that.
I would pull out my gun and give the chamber a spin and say, if I come across that man, I won't be arresting him.
Well, at least it'll be efficient. Is it something we got to do now before we leave the village or the town, rather?
I mean,
Or
I don't know if they're waiting for the caravan. If the caravan doesn't come out, then I reckon that they'll probably. I don't know what they'll do. Ben, my father, he killed my own mother in the dead of the night while I was watching, burned the house down, and has committed all kinds of heinous crimes of violence and other horrendous activities. So I'm not sure what the peacekeepers are thinking hiring a man like that. They're supposed to be hunting him down. I don't really know what he'll do.
we could take one of the wagons out and meet him on the road. Wes has got depth perception back. I'm sure he could handle a rifle and be hidden underneath a tarp.
Yeah. I think as much as I feel like I'm playing into the hands of all the entities that work here, I don't think we have much of a choice.
Yeah, if this guy's as bad as you say, probably shouldn't leave him to get bored from waiting for the caravan to arrive.
He's as bad as I say. He's worse.
All
He's
right.
the reason I'm the man I am today.
Let's go deal with him then. Then we'll head to the mountains. In the meantime, I think I'm gonna go find Sybil and see if she can take this star steel and turn it into a bullet for me. By the way, I'm just improvising and I've named the local gunsmith Sybil.
Okay, I dig it. I was like, wait, who's Sybil? Like, I don't know that name.
Just naming a random gunsmith in the world and
Okay.
adding stuff without
Yeah,
permission.
cool. I dig it. Yeah, so you could go to this Sybil and have him start to forge you a star steel bullet. You have enough to make 2.
Yeah, I think Sybil in my head, I was picturing like a widow.
Oh, that's fine.
Whose husband used to be the gunsmith, so she kind of inherited the job.
Yeah, sure. That's fine.
So yeah, I'll come up to her and say, Sybil, town folk are gonna stay behind, but I've got some star steel that I need forged in bullets. It's probably not enough to make a lot, but this is what I got. And he hands her like all the little totems that Hiram's been collecting off of the sow.
Yeah, she would kind of like look down at them, and her eyebrows would kind of like raise. You want to turn this incredibly precious metal into bullets to just be shot around.
Yeah, I'm probably destroyed in the process, but it's important.
I mean, all right. I've got enough here to make 2. Maybe a third if I push it for a smaller caliber. I'll see what I can do. Most of my stuff's packed up, but I mean, maybe I can get it done for you.
Yeah, try to get it done soon. We're gonna go take care of somebody that is looking to do some bad intent to the town, and we'll be back probably in a day or 2.
She would nod and get to work. You see her take the metal and kind of like put it in one of these big, like what are they called? They're not crucibles, like a big crucible.
Mm-hmm.
And she kind of like sets it in the forge fire. She starts to stoke it, using bellows to get the fire red hot. And you kind of just watch as she just goes to work.
You said you can maybe stretch it out to 3 rounds. Can you do 3 medium rounds, or if not,
3
rounds will do.
3 medium rounds, easy. Yeah.
Yeah, let's do that. I might need more bullets than I'm expecting.
She kind of just nod, not looking at you, just going back to stoking the furnace, the forge fire.
And then I think before he goes, while she's like, because she's stoking, she's probably got like an apprentice somewhere in the shop that can help out with like adjusting the hand grips on the medium revolver that he picked up.
Yeah. There's like this young boy, that he's kind of one of the orphans of the town. Like his father left one day and just basically never came back. He was like the town drunk though. So Sybil kind of took him in. Like both of them just kind of lost and alone. So like yeah, he would kind of like step up as like you kind of stick around.
Yeah,
Can I
it's
help you
just
with anything,
general
sir?
maintenance since I picked up the gun off of the corpse of a so like it's probably not in the best shape. So I just have him like clean it up, tighten the grips a little bit.
Yeah, he'd do all that real quick for you. And they've got like a bunch of stuff just sitting in the corner that they won't be able to fit in a wagon. That like he would kind of just basically do it for free, just because I mean they're not
Yeah.
gonna be able to use it anyways.
All right, and then I'll go meet the others at the wagon that we're going to commandeer to fake that we're the caravan, the first part of the caravan leaving town.
Okay. Are you taking any of the Boughton men with you, or are you just you three going?
Man, lead caravan usually would be a smaller armed force to just kind of clear the path. So I don't think we should really take any of the Boughton men, like any of the Boughton guards.
What about Sam?
Okay.
Oh, not Samuel.
No, I'd rather keep him around.
Okay.
I think it would work best if we have like a wagon that's mostly full of boxes, Wes in the back underneath the tarp, and then you and me up front, or me and Wes up front, and you in the back with the tarp, kind of thing.
Yeah.
Okay.
Before
All right.
before we go, Ty, tell me if I can spend a point of inspiration to maybe come across an owl
To come across an owl?
and say something to it.
Sure.
All
You see,
right.
there's an owl kind of like hiding in the eaves of like the local church. You see, it's kind of like up in the rafters, just looking down at all the activity, kind of fluffing its feathers and just looking confused.
So I imagine it's probably strange, but I walk up to it nonetheless and close the door off so that no one can see me doing this and say, listen, I don't know how this works. I don't even know if this is a stretch or if I'm really losing it. But if by some way you can find Matoska and tell him that it's all coming to an end in Blue Mountain, find out if he's okay and tell him that we need him. Can you please do that? I don't know if you're in Milwaukee. I don't know how y'all things work. But I just really need you, if you can, to tell him that.
The owl like looks at you, like just staring at you, like fluffs its feathers, and then like tucks its head like underneath its wings and goes back to sleep.
I'm like, yeah. All right, I thought so. But walk out a bit embarrassed and be like, you guys ready to go face down with one of the most wanted criminals in all of Providence?
Yeah, Hiram like closes the chamber to the medium revolver and then sets it into this new holster that he's got, or the new holster that he started wearing, I should say. And he says, well, the sooner we take care of him, the sooner I get to move up in the most wanted list. So this benefits me too. Gotta stay famous somehow.
He tries to smirk at your humor, but he's pretty focused now.
Okay. Yeah, you guys gather up one of the wagons. Dennis like approves everything, letting you guys go. You take one of the wagons just with like various random supplies, just so it looks real, and head out of town. We're gonna swap back over to Alex. Alex, you stand on a silvery field. You see that in the sky, our colors are purples and reds and oranges, just kind of rotating above you, forming a strange, like I guess sky just above you. You see that in the sky above you there are 9 stars kind of rotating around this one sun. And as you look down, you see in the distance, I mean, it looks almost like like a child, like a child like drew everything. Like everything's just kind of like blurry and very bright colors. You see a huge blue mountain just rising above everything. Walking towards you are hundreds and hundreds of just people who are just completely black. They don't have a face. They don't have distinguishing features, but they just slowly shamble towards you.
And I'm standing there.
Yeah, you're standing there, just surrounded on all sides, like that, like the tropey cliche scene at the end of like a zombie apocalypse movie when everyone dies and the last person's just standing there and like they're all just like closing in around him. It's like that.
I would breathe out heavily and shake my head, and I would start to join this mass of people. Take sort of stumble a few steps and just start walking with them to wherever they're going.
Yeah, you walk towards the mountain. As you move, you see that you're from the tips of your fingers, kind of moving up your hands towards your shoulders. This blackness kind of slowly starts like becoming a part of you too. As you walk, you see as you get closer to the mountain, there's one person who isn't completely covered in the shadow as well. You see it's Milwaukee. Only her face is normal. Only her face is visible. But her body's not her own anymore. She just keeps walking. You see that she's crying, not understanding what's happening, not understanding where she is or why she is. And she would look at you, and as she like opens her mouth to yell for help, you see the blackness kind of swallows her head, and now she's faceless like the rest.
I look down at my hands and I kind of just say no, 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 and I look back up, trying to find her, seeing if I can distinguish her from the masses.
Yeah, that brief moment of looking down, now you can't see her anymore. You can't see where she is. She looks like everybody else, everything else around you. And suddenly, as you're looking around, as you're saying no, no, as you're speaking no, no, they all turn and look at you and start walking towards you, hands outstretched, reaching, grabbing, closing around your arms, around your legs, dragging you to the ground, and your eyes flutter open. The gentle click clop of a horse beneath you as your body bounces up and down. You realize that you're staring at the ground. You realize that the hand that's been grabbing you, that closed over your face just recently, there's a hand on the back of your head steadying you as you've been thrashing about. And as you turn to look, you'd see a man you recognize from when you first went into oh my gosh,
Crow's Gulch.
Randall Boughton's room. The man who was speaking with him, Carson. He'd kind of be looking down at you. Whoa, whoa, whoa! Calm down there. You all right? I found you out there, just broken. Calm down. I'm a friend. I'm not here to hurt you.
Where am I?
Maybe 15 some odd miles out of Crow's Gulch. I just found you lying in the ground, bloodied up, broken.
Where did she go? I lost her. I saw her for a second, and then
calm down there, big fella. I found you out in the desert. I don't know what happened. I'm taking you somewhere you can get some medical help.
Water.
Oh yeah, he reached down and you see him like pull like one of like a series. He has like 10 or so canteens kind of lined on either side of the of this horse. And you kind of pull out one of these water bags, this leather bag, kind of unstopper it and offer it to you. Kind of put a hand on your shoulder like steady you so you don't fall off as you take a drink.
Yeah, I'd take a quick sip, and the water coming in, and the pain sort of hits me as I swallow. I wince a little bit, and but my head starts to clear from the vision I was just having, and I say, I cannot go to Crow's Gulch. I need to go to the Blue Mountain.
Well, I appreciate the tenacity, my friend, but you're no condition to move, to walk by yourself. And that's when you realize that like you can't even move your left arm. Like as you try to move it, like you realize that it's all bandaged up and like tied to your body. Your shoulder's dislocated. Best as I can tell, one of your legs might be broken. You're not walking anytime soon, friend.
I cannot go to Crow's Gulch. It is not time.
I'd say it's probably the best time to go to Crow's Gulch. You can't even you're not gonna survive out here by yourself, dude. Wow, that dude was so out of character. This is a Western game. They didn't say dude.
Partner.
Partner.
Exactly, partner. There we go. Thanks for the save.
I look down at my arm and try to move my leg a little bit. I'm like hanging on the horse like this.
Yeah, like you're like laying on the back of it like in a U almost, like over the back of the horse. You see that there's another one. He probably just didn't put you in the saddle because he didn't know if you could hold yourself up.
Okay. I say, let me try to stand.
All right. I mean, we got to get you on the horse, the other horse, some way. So, and you kind of like stop the horses and like hop down over the side, helping you kind of get down. The moment you, yeah, you kind of slide down over the edge with his help. The moment your right leg touches the ground, just pain. It's a lance of pain just going straight up your leg, piercing you in the gut.
I kind of go and I stand on my other leg. I've got my arm sort of hushed towards me, and I grit my teeth. I'm fine. I need to go to the Blue Mountain.
And he's like, he just look at you and like kind of like raise his eyebrows, like this like sarcastic look. Look, I can knock you out again, or you can just let me take you and get you some medical attention.
He kind of puts his hand out over, takes it, looks away, takes like 2 steps. First one hobbles, second one, and just falls to the ground.
Yeah.
With a grunt of pain, and then starts trying to push himself back up.
Yeah, he would kind of help you back to your feet and just like push you towards the horse.
Matoska grits his teeth and says, then I have truly failed, and it is time. I can no longer accomplish my quest. My purpose is gone.
And he would like look at you like as you're saying this and like kind of just frown. I mean, I don't know what your quest is, friend, but just pat your leg up, pat your shoulder up. Maybe we can get you back out there for whatever that is supposed to be.
There's only one thing left for me to do now. And he lets him sort of help him up onto the horse, and the two of them ride off, and Matoska's just sort of like this, head down, shoulders hung, as the horse, I imagine they can't be galloping or anything. They're probably walking.
It's like a steady trot. Yeah, it's like a steady trot.
And just sort of, gritting his teeth against the pain and marching towards death.
Okay. As you make your way towards the town, we're going to fast forward a bit. Eventually, you kind of arrive. You can see as you kind of like come around a corner, because you've kind of been moving alongside the mountains. Kind of come around the side, you can see in the distance Crow's Gulch. It's just sitting there. You see that there's a little bit of activity kind of within the walls itself, and a caravan moving towards you. We're going to switch to the caravan side. As you guys kind of ride through the fields, moving towards Crow's Gulch itself. I mean, away from Crow's Gulch. You would see 2 people on horseback approaching you.
And it's me and Hiram. imagine that I have the reins, and you think that's them? Seems like a perfect trap.
Probably. I don't know of any tolls on this road.
All right. Well, he'll probably shoot first, so make sure you're ready for it. And I unlatch the holster on the side of my leg and I guess ride up to the horse. I'm not just going to start blasting it from a little ways away. So let's see what game he has planned.
As you ride up, kind of getting closer and closer and closer, you would see that there's one. I mean, you would see that's Matoska.
I imagine I'd be shouting to Wesley, or like whispering to Wesley, "Get ready! They're going to be on us any moment." And then I'd wait a second. And I've seen Carson. Do I know Carson?
Oh yeah, you would know Carson. He's got a reputation.
Yes. What's his last name?
Carson Shepard.
That's Carson Shepard. And is that Matoska? What the hell's going on here? This ain't good, but this ain't good, Hiram.
Who the hell's Carson Shepard?
He's a peacekeeper. One of the most famous. Mephisto said he'd be coming here.
Is he your backup, or?
I don't know what.
Honestly don't know who my backup is that's coming. The Reapers don't exactly share information very well.
Some bitch wouldn't tell me whose side he's on. All he said is that he knows what's going on with the Oasis.
I thought you said I was your backup. From like inside the caravan.
You are. Don't shoot anyone just yet. Wait for the signal.
One planning on it, sir. Mr. Sheriff, sir. Just wanted to clear that up with you folk.
Well,
you're acting like I'm not here. I'm here.
In that case, let's see what he's got to say.
Roll up.
Yeah, Carson would come riding up, and he kind of like stop his horse right next to your guys' cart as you guys stop too. And you kind of like look over your back towards the town. Where you going?
Well, we were about to walk into what we thought was some kind of trap. What are you doing here?
Well, I received a communication saying that. When you look at you, Hiram, there was a problem in town.
It's not him this time.
And like, what would you say would be a sign, Hiram, that he could give you as a Reaper?
Yeah, there's no like Reaper badge, so it's got to be something like either like it's a tip of the hat in a special way, or maybe like some sort of like hand signal thing that he could do.
Yeah, you'd see that like as he kind of like looks at you, you two kind of like locking eyes. He would kind of reach up and like kind of like pull his hat down from the side and then slide forward, rather than kind of like going from the front and sliding back like most people would.
And Hiram grabs his hat and does the same. It's okay. You can speak Frank. He's a recruit now, whether he likes it or not, and so is. And he taps on the back to like make Wes jump.
Yeah, he would like look at like the three of you, and he'd like, well, you've been busy recruiting, Hiram.
Not by choice. I forget what they're called. The skunk beast that shoots acid. We had to deal with one of those, and ever since, well, really, I guess a little further back, some sort of. And he starts to think about it. I know Hiram would remember the name of it, but what was the first thing that we had? The Senai? Yeah. Ever since the Senai, they've been learning the ropes.
You kind of like frown and like look at the three of you, and then look back over his shoulder. I found this one out in the desert. Is the doctor still in?
Yeah. I'm gonna look at the sheriff like, do we want to pull him in town?
Ugh. Yeah, Lance is giving the look like he doesn't even know what to do now. And he stares at you, Matoska.
I need no doctor.
Uh,
My body is broken. Lance, I was this close. I saw her. And she got away.
talking about the owl?
Wesley, I have a letter. It's from your mother. And he reaches out and sort of head still down, hands out the piece of paper that he had. He had found one of the refugees that he recognized from when they had captured these people, and they were keeping them sort of in pens, and had them draft a letter. His plan was to just drop it off as an owl, and meet up with them later with the information. But he hasn't opened it. He obviously can't read. I don't know what it says in there, but it would have a lot of the information that you already have about the Blue Mountain and what the Mother Owl is doing, and the corruption and the Star Steel, and whatever else your mom saw fit to put in a message to you. I don't know exactly what it would say, but he would sort of hand it out.
And I would like hold it out or look at it. Mr. Deputy Sheriff, sir, can you do me a solid, sir? Can you read this for me?
Yeah, I suppose I can, and I'd read it, and then obviously read off everything that he just said, and then I imagine. Go ahead.
I was gonna say, like, you take it and you start to open it. Roll me perception checks.
Oh boy! Oh yeah,
The
about that
owl.
ambush. About that
It's
ambush.
actually
we're walking into.
it's a mimic. The letter is a mimic.
I'm too lost in thought.
7
Point of
perception.
damage for paper cuts, and it just keeps doing it until you die.
Oh god. Yeah, I rolled pretty bad. So I imagine as I'm looking at this, it's like all the information that I just basically sold myself for, given to me by Matoska. So I'm like not paying attention at all.
All right, it's 17, solid. Yeah, you can't see anything beneath the tarp, Wes. Lance is kind of just like lost in thought. But you, probably from many, many years of just like having to be aware of everything, having to be observant, having to be wary of something going wrong, of something being a monster. You would hear the sound of galloping hooves before anyone else would. And as you turn and look off into the fields, the leftover fields in the south that the Sow didn't get to, you would see that there are 9 riders approaching you.
Yeah, he turns and he goes, "Someone's coming," and then he sees like the cloud and starts to make out the silhouettes. Looks like there's 9 of them. Mr. Shepard, I hope you brought your sidearm because it looks like you're gonna need it. These men were hired to run the people of Crow's Gulch out. I think that'll affect you both as a lawman and as a reaper.
Who look at you as you say this and turn and look at the cloud that approaches. Well, I'm assuming that since you're telling me that they're not with you.
I don't think so.
It's Black Ben, I'd say to him.
He would like frown immediately as you say that, and look down at his side. You see him reach under his like 2 armpits, and he pulls out these dual wielding heavy revolvers. Well, I came to town to help. I guess I can start here.
Yeah, I'm gonna get down off the wagon that we brought out, and I'm gonna take cover on the far side.
Okay. Yeah, you post up on the far side. As the riders approach, are you gonna just start firing shots, or are you gonna let them get closer?
If it is at all possible for me to actually take a hide action, I'd like to do that before they get here.
Yeah, go ahead.
Matoska straps his shield to his arm and says, "Well, if I am destined to die this day, I'd rather go out as my nature wills it. Fighting." And so he's gonna take his staff, or his walking stick that he was walking around with, and use it to sort of prop up his bad leg and strap his shield to the other arm and sort of hop down onto the horse and hobble to the front of the group. And he's pointedly standing in front of Lance, wherever Lance and Wes are. So whatever, if shots start getting fired, he's like, in the way.
I'm sorry, I do have a technical question. Does this count as like not being surprised? Because I have a feat that may change what I do.
I mean, does it count as not being surprised? Yeah, I'd say so.
Okay, and how far are they away from us at the moment?
Like maybe 80 feet.
Mm,
They haven't fired a shot yet, but it's up to you guys.
yeah, I think
I
I'm
would-
going to wait it out because I don't
Yeah.
want disadvantage for shooting in far range.
Yeah, I'd say everyone hold off for a second.
So I'll stick with the hiding thing.
Okay, the group of horsemen kind of like stop when they're like 40 feet away from you. The one at the head is obviously like their leader. You see that he has like this black hat was kind of like tipped down over his head. You recognize what he's wearing immediately. Hiram, this is the man that you confronted upstairs in the Boughton house that one night when you got triple tapped.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so he would stop about like 40 feet away and kind of like rest a hand on one of his holsters. And like look over your small group and look back towards Crow's Gulch. Thought there'd be more of you.
Yeah, we were thinking you would be thinking that. Do I recognize them or?
Yeah.
Yeah. Benjamin.
You kind of frown and like stare at you for a second, like trying to figure out how he knows you because he hasn't seen you in a very long time. You've grown up.
I'd say it'd be like a piece of shit like you not to be able to recognize his own son. I remember your face, though. I've thought of it and dreamt of it every single day and night.
His eyes would widen as you say, like, not to recognize your own son. Lance?
That's right. I've been waiting a long time to repay you for what you did to Sophia, your wife.
Hey, Tyler, I got a question for you.
Yeah.
Normally, I wouldn't use an ability like this, but I'd like to kind of float the idea to you. The know your enemy thing allows me to impose disadvantage as a reaction using my cunning action thing. Can I use that to impose disadvantage on Benjamin since he just found out about Lance's son being alive and here in front of him? Like,
Yeah.
a bit outside of the norm, but I feel like that's something thematic I could do to help us out.
Yeah, you can impose disadvantage. Yeah. So he would kind of like he would just like surprise, just shock. Son, you. There's so much that you don't understand. So much I need to explain.
Listen, you piece of shit. You don't need to explain anything. You stabbed and murdered your own wife right in front of your 7-year-old son's eyes. You burned down the house. told him not to tell anybody so that you could get away, made up some lie that it was something else, and then went on for years to torture, kill, and torment everybody. I became a peacekeeper so that one day I'd be in this position right now and take you down for what you've done.
Lance, I didn't kill her because I wanted. I was tricked, Lance. She wasn't my wife or your mother. She was something else. I
You're a
don't know how to
liar.
explain this.
Don't lie. Own up to what you did. I seen her as she bled out on the floor. Confusion in her eyes, reaching towards me.
I don't know how to explain this to you in a way that you would understand. There are things in this world, son, that monsters, things that.
And what do you think you're doing here then? Explain that. Coming to kill the people of Crow's Gulch. You expect me to believe that you're some high and mighty? I was tricked into killing somebody, tricked into lying to his son. What about all the other things you've done?
I admit that I've done things that I shouldn't have, but this isn't one of them, son. These people, they've taken and taken and taken from from everyone. Do you even know the Boutons at all? Who they truly are? What they've done? The people they've destroyed? The lives they've ruined?
The way I see it, they're no different than you.
He frowns at that. You see that deeply disturbs him.
Now, we could do this a couple of ways. But no matter what, one of us isn't leaving here. So I challenge you to a duel, Benjamin O'Connor.
He would look at you, son. Don't do this.
I'd hop off the carriage. You've been challenged. Black Ben. Infamous war criminal. You before your brigands. Are you gonna turn down this challenge? Or are you gonna face up for what you did? If you're an honest man, then we'll settle this right here and right now.
You see, he just seems at a loss for words. He doesn't know what to say or how to say it. And he'd look down at his hands at the black gun strapped to his side. And he'd hop down. All right. We have a duel, gentlemen. Let's go ahead and do this. Okay. Oh my gosh, can I even find that? Where are the rules for dueling?
Yeah, I don't even know what I'm doing. I'm sorry.
No, you're good.
I'd
There we go.
Pass Hiram and just be like,
What am I supposed to do?
I'm sorry, Hiram, but no matter what happens, this man can't leave. Blue Mountain, the Mother Owl. Please make sure it gets finished.
Okay. You two square up on the road, separated out, 40 paces between you. The first stage is preparation. So basically, you're going to choose a skill that you feel like you can justify to me to like give yourself a leg up. Prepare your mind, whatever. So I mean, this could be any skill that you want. What do you want to roll in the preparation phase?
So I want to use a perception to start to get a feel for what kind of stance he's taking up, and just the general like posture and experience that he seems to have. I'm no expert of dueling, but I've at least, as a sheriff, of trying to take down illegal dueling, at least done my studying. So I'm no Hiram. I'm probably not even close to being Hiram, but I at least know like some idea of stances and whether he's a veteran or not.
Okay. Yeah, roll me your perception check then.
All right. Fuck. I think I'm gonna have to spend my inspiration right now because I got a natural one.
Okay.
So I'm gonna spend my last inspiration because inspirational owl. Oh my god, 2 nat ones in a row. It's over for me.
Yeah, your hand's shaking. Just all the emotion, like you can't get a read on him. You see that he takes like an immaculate stance, like his shoulder to you, a very thin target. He uses shield stance. So you two square up and you start preparing and reading each other. Now it's the read. So you have to use one of the following skills: insight, sleight of hand, deception, or investigation.
I'll use investigation.
Okay.
Disadvantage because I lost the preparation?
No, he just gets a bonus because he won the read.
Okay. Oh my god. It's actually so over for me. I rolled a 4 plus a 4 for an 8.
Yeah, okay. He wins again. And now it's the draw. Both during the draw, both parties pull their weapons and take a single shot at each other. This is a normal weapon attack. Those certain class abilities that may have an effect on the roll. Both parties roll. The winner of the raid gets a +2 to their attack against other modifiers. Higher roll hits first. A nat 20, the draw immediately wins, etc., etc., etc. So now we're just going to go ahead and roll and make a normal weapon attack against each other, but he gets an additional +2 for winning the read.
Okay. Now, do I use the same dice that's rolled a 1, 1, and a 4?
It's up to you.
I'm going to do it.
So ability would trigger on his attack roll, just as a reminder, giving him disadvantage.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
I rolled a natural 18 plus modifiers for a total of 23.
Okay. As you both go to draw, your hand slips on the gun because, believe it or not, he actually beat you. But he just turns his body. He doesn't draw. And he just lets you shoot him. You hit him in the heart. He looks down. You see that he's crying.
I'd walk up to him, be like, "What the hell are you doing? Why did you do that? You had me beaten every way."
And he would reach out and hug you and whisper, "I'm sorry," before collapsing to the ground.
I imagine Lance doesn't say anything. He would, after a while, though, turn to the 8 other individuals and you lot will be placed under arrest for aiding Black Benjamin O'Connor, war criminal of Providence, guilty of several cases of violence, murder, and heinous crimes against peacekeepers and the good people of the country.
They'd be just looking at his body. You see that they are genuinely sad. And they would just kind of look up at you and just shake their heads. And they would turn their horses around and just trot them away.
Hiram will step out from underneath the wagon It's not worth the chase right now. We got bigger problems.
Lance would have his back to you, but after a moment would spin, and you'd see that there's tears in his eyes, and I don't get it. I don't get it, Hiram.
Sometimes you don't have a will to enter a duel, but you have to. He didn't have the will to pull the gun on you.
He's a bad man, though, right?
Maybe. You know there's more to this world than meets the eye.
Then I would look to him and then direct my eyes to Matoska. I would say to you, Hiram, what do we do about that then? I made a vow that if he comes back here, that he would pay for what he did. But that's one man that's just paid for a crime. Are we going to make it two?
As far as I see it, Tosca hasn't come back. He's outside the city limits. He kind of just looks back at this like sun-beaten sign that says Crow's Gulch on it. I imagine if he doesn't come in the city, you're not breaking your oath.
I'd put my hand on your shoulder, I guess, still crying. And I'd say to you that I've dreamed of this moment. Every moment of my life has been shaping up to this exact scenario. Yet all I feel is sadness, Hiram.
Well, what I say next probably isn't going to make you happy, but we should take his body back to town. He's the one that was rooting around in Randall's room after we found the dead body.
That's right. Well, let's finish this then. Bring him in, and let's go to Blue Mountain.
Mr. Shepard, Tosca, if y'all wouldn't mind meeting us on the north side of town. We've got to go to a Blue Mountain, but we've got to drop off a body. I have to pick up a few star metal rounds.
Carson will kind of just nod and look at you, Matoska. Well, we're going over farmland. It's going to be a little bit more tough, so I want to get comfortable. It'll be a lot more bouncing, my friend.
If you're cool with it, Hiram, as we're walking in the town, I'd ask it just be you and me.
Mm-hmm.
And could you, like, do you feel like maybe you'd be telling me about sometimes how Reapers pin certain crimes on other individuals as like a fallback?
Yeah, like there's definitely this moment where Hiram goes, Shepard might have to arrest me when this is all done. I kind of talked to you a little bit about it. To keep the secrets that the Reapers have, most of the time somebody's got to take the blame for it, especially when it happens in a town. It wouldn't be uncommon for a Reaper to lay evidence down and say that someone else did a crime. Pinkerton's done that to me. That's probably why I'm going to leave here in irons.
Yeah, and he's not really saying anything. He's just kind of like taking it in. And I imagine as we walk through the town, if it's cool with you, Ty, we eventually bump into Dennis.
Yeah, Dennis would kind of just like be directing everybody at the caravan, and he kind of like look up as you guys come back in with the wagon, kind of like an expectant look on his face.
And I think before the deputy has to lie, because like Hiram knows that this is going to be hard for him. He pipes up, "Dennis is the man we found in your father's room, the one that shot me. As you can tell, justice has been served. Sheriff's hands pulled the trigger." It's kind of like this very pointed, "I told you to trust him" kind of comment.
Yeah. Dennis would walk up and like look at the body, kind of like looking at the gun, looking at the man. This is Black Ben O'Connor. I mean, this is Black Ben because I guess they wouldn't know his last name is O'Connor. This is Black Ben.
Yeah. By the way, what kind of pistol did he have?
Yeah, a black Star Steel heavy revolver.
Yeah, I gotta snatch that up because a heavy's better than the medium.
I'd definitely be grabbing it for it before you grab it. So it's up to you if you fight me for it.
Yeah, like Hiram will definitely grab it up and like start putting the holster on. But if you say something, he'll give it to you. But he's gonna try and keep the bullets at least.
Yeah,
Heavy bullets.
I'll just take the gun and yeah, you can have the bullets.
Yeah, you would see kind of like as he's like looking at the body, he would kind of like, have you searched him yet? Any notes, signs of who might have?
I think the only bit of searching that Hiram would have really done is he scavenged for bullets because we're on the frontier. Like bullets matter. I've been counting them this whole time we've been playing, and like I'm down to 7 heavy bullets. I need more.
Yeah,
I'd pat him down for sure and see if he had anything on him.
Oh, sorry, 4 heavy bullets. I definitely need more.
Yeah, so as you pat him down, kind of finding more, you can just take the heavy bullets then, Hiram.
How much?
He had like 20 extra rounds on him.
Okay, cool.
You would find additionally, kind of on his person, a small bag of money. There would not be a letter, although you get excited when you're patting the inside of his like coat. You feel something papery, and as you pull it out, you'd find a very worn, folded picture, black and white, of you, your mom, and him. What is this a picture of? What memory?
I imagine it was the day that Benjamin O'Connor was just finished passing the academy for the peacekeepers, and it was his first day on the job, and he had his peacekeeper's badge pinned to Lance, who was sitting on his lap, and it was just basically like a family portrait of Lance on his lap, Ben in uniform, and then the proud wife standing behind him, Sophia O'Connor. The very first day of his job.
Yeah, you would see that it's worn from being folded and unfolded so many times, like practically falling apart. You would see that it is like one of the only few things he actually seems to have carried on him everywhere. You would see that still pinned on the inside of his jacket is his peacekeeper badge. He still wears it, though the word peacekeeper has been scratched out, leaving the symbol but removing the idea.
I definitely keep that because I've given mine away to a demon. So I take that and pin it in, and then kind of make a note to myself to swear to find out what truly happened and who Benjamin O'Connor really was.
Yeah, as you take this picture, as you take the bullets and the weapons, his eyes kind of are just still open, just staring up at the sky. The dirty dust trails left in it from the tears. And I'm guessing the dentist would kind of just like frown and kind of give him like a last right type thing by closing his eyes and kind of step away. So what's the plan then, deputy? Or, I mean, haven't seen Wayne anywhere. I don't know what's going on with him. So I guess for now it's sheriff until he shows back up.
Well, me, Hiram, Wesley, Carson Shepherd and one of his men are heading up to Blue Mountain. And we're going to finish off who's warping the mind of these so.
Before we go, you said Carson might be able to help the Botans.
Yeah, Carson would kind of like nod. Well, how about we get the Oasis back first? And Dennis would like look at him like, what?
Yeah, like what? I would also give him the same look.
Look, Dennis, before you do this, I think it's important that you know that, look, restoring the Oasis will kill you slowly. And you kind of like look around to make sure like nobody else is like listening in, like it's just your small group. Look, I tried to convince your father that it wasn't worth it, that he should just let it go. But if you really, really want this back, if you really want Crow's Gulch back, just know that you're consigning yourself to a slow and painful death. Dennis would kind of like look at him and just like sit there thinking for a second. Yeah. No, this is our home. I'll do whatever I have to. All right. Follow me then. He'd make his way up the hill towards the manor.
Unless he objects, I'd like to go along for the ride, because I really don't know how this is going to end for Hiram. I might be arrested. I might be the resident Reaper when this is all over. Who knows? And knowing this bit of information might be helpful.
Yeah, call me curious.
Okay. Yeah, you guys would make your way up to the manor then. He would kind of just step inside briefly. You'd see that he would kind of look around. He'd break a picture frame and pull out a picture. He would reach out and grab a strand of Dennis's hair and cut it. And then he would kind of like kneel down, like looking around, kind of like he'd look at Dennis, and then he'd like, you got something important, something of value, an item, something. He would just kind of like frown and like nod, and he'd look down at his hand. You see there's a ring on his finger, and he'd kind of like pull the ring off and like hold it in his hand, like weighing it. You know that this is like the Boutons, like it's like the symbol of authority for the Boutons, like the one who's in charge wears the ring. And he'd hand it over to him, and he'd kind of just nod. All right, follow me. He would kind of move back down towards the Oasis. He'd look at this kind of like pulley system they've set up, and he would kind of like haul the rope over, like pulling on it. How sturdy is this? I mean, it can haul quite a bit of water. Say that it could hold a person. All right, well, we're going down then. So he'd kind of like climb down this rope. It goes down and down and down. I'm not going to force you guys to make strength checks or anything, because I mean, I'm assuming that they probably set up something more efficient, like a double ropes like lowering system or something. So you guys go down until you reach the bottom floor, and you see that all around you are just like tunnels. They just spread out in every direction. He would kind of walk a short way until he reached like an intersection where like 4 tunnels come together, forming a crossroad. And he kind of kneel down in the silt, pull it all away, and bury the box in it. And then
crossroads are in this town. Like Hiram's just blown away that this is under the Oasis.
Yeah. And this guy appears. You know him very well, Lance. You would have heard about him in rumor, Hiram. The other 2 of you probably have no idea. Actually, Matoska, you might. At like rumors and legends through your village. What might one of those be?
I'm not there.
Oh yeah, you're around on the other side of town. That's right. Never mind.
Route.
Yeah, you took the scenic route. He would look. He'd step to the side and like you look at Dennis. I'm assuming you're carrying the will with you. Dennis would just like slowly nod. All right. Well, go ahead. He would like look at him and then look at the devil, like the demon in front of him, and be like, okay, what's going on? Like he has no idea. Like he doesn't know anything about any of this.
Dennis, you're here to make a deal with this man, thing, demon. Seems like there's a legacy of it for your family. Let me guess, the water's not natural.
Mephisto would smile and just like pointing and go ding, ding, ding. Dennis would just like look at you. This is crazy. This is crazy, right? Like demons aren't real. This you what? And he just like look around like he doesn't understand.
It's crazy, Dennis, but it's real. I regret to inform you, it's very real.
Dennis, I tried to keep your family out of this business as much as I could, but I didn't know they were already this involved. One of the things that I did for Randall, even though he wasn't aware of it, was look out for things like this in the town. Now the sheriff is looking out. And if we can beat some sense into Wes, he's looking out too.
Dennis would like look at you and then look back at Mephisto, who's just kind of like standing there, just like tapping his foot on a stone. Well, are we making a deal or not, Dennis Boughton? Dennis would like look at him and look back at all of you and like seeing like this is like really the only way, would just like step up. Well, I don't really know how this works. Mephisto would just kind of like smile. We'll keep the same terms that we've always had. That was the original deal I gave your predecessor. And you'd extend a hand to him. Dennis would look down at it. Look at the dark skin, the long fingernails. Look up at his horns, at the smile. And extend his hand. You'd see that he'd kind of like grit his teeth in pain as there's like a searing smell of like burning flesh. As he pulls his hands away, you would see that there's a symbol from his palm kind of burnt into his palm itself, and it slowly just kind of like fades to a scar. Now, I suggest that you review the will. It contains all the terms of our contract. You'll be able to read them now that we've made it. Now, shoo. Well, if that's all I'm needed for. And he'd turn to start to walk away.
Lance would speak up. Mephisto, long time. And I would be sure to make sure that the black revolver is now showing.
He would just kind of smile at this. Had a run-in with your father, I see.
Yeah, you son of a bitch, I did.
Mm.
What didn't you tell me?
Oh, Lance O'Connor. You're just as brazen as he was. Now, you see, your father, he was so dedicated to make a difference that he wanted to make a deal. You know what he asked for? He asked to have the power to make that difference. And motivated by killing a transformed wife, a young Lance O'Connor. You see, you're his change. Stings, don't it?
Yeah, he doesn't know what to say. He clenches his fist, the holster and black revolver shaking in it. He said, well, this is one of the things that you're looking for, isn't it?
Oh, that is true.
All part of your game or something now, isn't it?
Maybe, or part of my collection, I guess you could call it.
Well, you haven't held up your end of the bargain yet. So I think
haven't.
Hold on to this for now.
I see.
And if
And
you
what
want
part?
me to maybe have a little bit more success in this mission so that you can get your end of the bargain, how about you give me the ammo that goes inside this thing so I can be the destiny that my father paid for? I think that's the least you owe my family.
He would just smile. All terms of our contract have been fulfilled, but a little white ash would never hurt anyone. And he kind of like slapped his hands together. And as you turn the chamber out, you'd see that there are 6 bullets in it, each covered with white ash.
Yeah, that's what I was going to ask for. Sick. He said, well, I'm a man of my word. I'll be seeing you shortly.
Counting on it. He gives you a wink and then turns around, takes 2 steps, and disappears.
I would turn around to Hiram and just ask him, Are you ready to finish this?
Just about. Sybil should be done with casting the bullets, so.
Okay, we're going to swap briefly to the outskirts of the city. Matoska, you kind of follow along, just led on this horse by Carson Shepard. When you hear a screech above you, and as you glance up, you'd see a hawk kind of circling overhead, looking down at you before it turns and flies off towards Blue Mountain.
I just sort of look up and watch it go off toward the horizon and shake my head. Maybe it is not over. If my friends can trust in me, put their fate into our hands, maybe I should have some trust too.
Yeah, Shepard will kind of look back at you, Carson, and he'd like look you in the eyes. You know, seems like you got something you got to do. And my old man, he always told me when I was growing up, I told him I wanted to be the best sheriff around. He said I had a long way to go. But he said fear kills more dreams than failure ever will. Now's not the time to be afraid.
He sort of clenches his jaw. My body may be broken, but the spirit of my ancestors flows within me. I will do what I can.
You just nod. Sometimes that's all you can do. And that is where we'll end the session. All right, gents. Thanks for playing. Thanks for tuning in, everyone. As always, if you like the game, feel free to like and subscribe. And as always, I hope you find yourselves in your games on a roll. Here we go.